Welcome to Garden Wise Adventures. My name is Malie, and today I'd like to do another short video with an update on my citrus trees. Now, I am not an expert in growing citrus trees. I've just completed the first year. I bought my citrus trees last year and got them around March, and they haven't died yet, so I wanted to kind of go over what I've done and show you what they look like. I'd also like to kind of share a little bit of about what I've learned about citrus care when you're growing them indoors. So let's look at my citrus trees and see what they look like. So here's the corner where I grow my citrus trees indoors. I live in zones, 5, 6, 7, sometimes it's different each winter. But it's definitely too cold to have the citrus trees outside during the winter, so I bring them indoors. In the summer, they go out on my deck, and they seem to do really well with early morning sun and a little bit of afternoon shade. That was their first year, so I'm going to try and give them a little bit more sun this year. So I put them in pots that seemed appropriate for the size, and they seem to be doing well. And from what I've heard, you do need to pot up citrus about every 2 years. Now, if they get too big for your pots to move, you can actually prune the roots and keep them in a smaller pot if necessary. Now, that's something that I'm going to explore doing at a later date, but definitely Google that, and if you're in that situation, and see what you can do. So this is my improved Meyer Lemon. We've got a lemon that is just about ready to harvest. This formed last year right after I bought it. Still a little bit green, so I'm not going to harvest it yet. The soil that I used is called a 5-1-1 mixture. Now there's 5 parts bark, it's a softwood bark. This one's a fir bark that I found at Home Depot, and I just screened out the larger pieces. And then it is 1 part regular potting soil and 1 part perlite. I also added a slow release citrus fertilizer to it. To keep the humidity up and to keep the pot out of its own water when it drains, I've added pebbles. And when I water this, I water it so water flows out into the pan below, and then I siphon that out with a turkey baster and put that in a bucket and then just get rid of it. So that way any salts are flushed out and it doesn't sit in its own water. The drainage has to be really good for citrus because they do rot easily. Now, my Meyer Lemon flowered really heavily in December, but it didn't form any new fruit, and it's still a young tree, so I'm not too worried about that. I would have liked another one. But I do see another bud back here. This isn't the best looking bud, but it did flower a little bit. It's still recovering from moving indoors. It lost all its leaves when I moved it indoors, and all of this is new growth from this year. And as you can see right here, maybe we can see, we're going to get new growth again. I've also got new growth starting on these branches. Now, as long as this tree is growing, I do give it fertilizer. You're supposed to back off a little bit in the winter, but it seems to grow quite well in the winter time for me. I don't know if I'm doing that wrong, but we'll find out and see. Now, these are the fertilizers that I've been using. We have the Espoma Organic Citrus Tone. We have the Foliage Pro. And then when it starts showing a little bit of calcium or magnesium deficiencies, and I'll show you what that looks like in a minute, I add a little bit of CalMag to it. So these seems to have worked really well. I've tried other things, did not work as well at all, so I did some research online to some of the citrus growing groups, and this is what everybody suggested, and it's worked beautifully. Let me show you some recovering leaves. If you look at these leaves a little bit, you can kind of see a little bit of yellow inside and some green veins. When this area first started growing in, it really had a lot of issues that looked like iron deficiency. And for some reason, adding the CalMag really helped that clear up. This is my Owari Satsuma Mandarin. This branch right here is all new growth, and it was hanging to the ground, so I've got it tied up for a little bit. And I'm going to keep it tied up like that all winter so that it can get the light that it needs. When I move it outside, I think what I'll do with this one so it'll bush out some more is I'll probably cut that branch about halfway down and see if I can get it to fill out a little bit. Now, I did grow citrus quite successfully in Southern California. I did not have to bring it inside. They were all grown outdoors. And you don't really need to prune citrus. The only reason you would prune citrus at all is to kind of clear out dead wood and maybe a little bit of size control. Now with these, I'm going to need to prune them so that I can actually shape them the way that I want and make sure that all the leaves are reaching the light that they need. Now this back here is not a citrus, this is an avocado. We've got a lot of beautiful new growth on it. And I treat the avocado basically the same way, except for it needs more water. It also does not like to sit in water. It rots easier than citrus, so the drainage has to be perfect on it. The lights that I've been using are Sensei lights, and these are Sensei grow lights, and they have worked beautifully. The citrus seems to be getting the light that it needs in here. Now definitely they will do a lot better with natural sunlight, so as soon as the freezing weather is past, I will definitely put these back outside. So that's about it with my citrus. I really am excited to see if I can get more fruit off of them, see if I can get them healthier, to grow larger and to fill out a little bit more. And I would love to hear your experiences with citrus growing. I really love to push boundaries and see what we can do. And when I do that, when I push boundaries like that, I try my hardest not to get attached to the plants because some things will not work. Failure is definitely an option. But as I've said in past videos, I don't really look at it as failure, as more of windows of opportunity. Opportunity to learn, opportunity to start a new plant. But that being said, I've grown pretty attached to my citrus plants and my little avocado, and I'm hoping for success. So I'd love to hear any tips and tricks that you have. I hope you've enjoyed my video, and I hope you're out there trying new things and enjoying your gardening, even though it's winter, and I hope you have a wonderful garden adventure.